In long day, I have discussed Cauchy problem. Actually, Cauchy problem is very important for any competitive exam. Today I will discuss again Cauchy problem just as a review. The Cauchy problem is the initial value problem del u del t plus x del u del x equal to x. Here the Cauchy problem given del u del t plus x del u del x equal to x. Here x lies from 0 less than equal to x less than 1 and t greater than 0. Given p equal to x, q equal to 1 and r equal to x. Then the Cauchy problem is dx over x, dt over 1 and du over x. Then that imply, if you compare these two equations, then that imply log x equal to t. That imply x equal to e to the power t. So it imply x e to the power minus t equal to c1. Second equation, if you compare these two equations, then this imply compare these two equations, then x would be cancelled, dx over x equal to du over x. Notice here x would be cancelled, then that imply u minus x equal to c2. So it imply phi of x e to the power minus t equal to u minus x. Here the initial condition u x0 equal to 2x and given this is x and this is t. Here x equal to x and t equal to 0 and u equal to 2x. That imply phi x equal to, here the given value of u is 2x minus x, that imply x. That means phi x equal to x given. And since phi of x equal to x, that means this imply x e to the power minus t equal to u minus x. And that imply u of x t equal to x plus x e to the power minus t. That imply x times 1 plus e to the power minus t. Okay, I hope my all viewers have understood. Obviously this solution is unique solution, so more than one solution, this is wrong option. No solution, this is wrong option. Here unique solution uxt, which tends to infinity as t tends to infinity. As t tends to infinity, e to the power minus t goes to 0, and as t tends to infinity, this value would be x. And since x lies from 0 to 1, so this value would be lies on the interval 0 to 1. So unique solution which tends to infinity as t tends to infinity, this is the wrong option, because this uxt always be bounded. So only option 3 is a right option, a solution which remains bounded as t tends to infinity. I hope my all viewers have understood this question easily. Notice, this type of question actually very important for any competitive exam. Okay, see you soon. Next question, uxy equal to 2f of y cos of x minus 2y, where xy belongs to R to be a solution of the initial value problem 2ux plus uy equal to u, where initial condition is ux0 equal to cos x, then the value of f of 1. Notice, here the equation uxy equal to 2f of y cos x minus 2y, and the equation is 2ux plus uy equal to u. Here p equal to 2, q equal to 1 and r equal to u. That imply dx by 2, dy by 1 and du by u. If you compare these two equations, that imply x minus 2y equal to c1, and here the solution is look like uxy equal to 2f of y cos x minus 2y. For this, and if you compare these two equations, then that imply dy equal to log u plus log c2. Sorry, y equal to log u. That imply y equal to log u over c2. That imply uxy equal to e to the power y times c2. So that imply c2 equal to e to the power minus y times uxy. So uxy equal to e to the power y times phi of x minus 2y. And notice, here the given solution is look like uxy equal to 2f of y times cos x minus 2y. For this, at the initial condition ux0 equal to cos x, that means here y equal to 0. This is equal to cos x and y equal to 0, that means this value is phi x. That means phi x equal to cos x. Okay. Therefore, ux comma y equal to e to the power y times cos x. Here, sorry, this is the value of phi x. Here phi of x minus 2y, that means this is equal to phi of x minus 2y, uxy equal to, and this is actually here given the solution is look like such type. That means if y equal to, if you compare this equation with this equation, that means if y equal to 2f of y equal to e to the power y, that means if y equal to e to the power y over 2, and here we have to find f of 1, and f of 1 equal to e to the power 1 over 2, that means this value is e over 2. That means the value of f of 1 is e over 2. I hope my all viewers have understood this question easily. Okay? Well. Next equation, let uxy be a solution of the Cauchy problem. And the solution is ux equal plus uy equal to 0 where x belongs to 1 and y greater than 0. And here the initial condition ux comma 0 equal to x. Then the value of here the question about the value of u at the point 2, 3. Notice here the equation ux plus uy equal to 0, that means p equal to u, q equal to 1 and r equal to 0. So the Cauchy equation dx by u, dy by 1 and du by 0, that imply u is equal to c1 and put the value here, the value of u here, that imply dx by c1 equal to dy, that imply x minus c1y equal to c2. So since the value of c1 is u, so this value is x minus uy equal to c2. So uxy equal to phi of x minus 2y, ui. And here the given equation, initial condition, ux0 equal to x, put y equal to 0, ux0 equal to x, that means the value of u equal to x, and here phi x equal to x. Since phi x equal to x, therefore ux comma y equal to, since phi x equal to x, that means this equal to x minus uy. That means u equal to x minus uy, we have to find the value of u. U plus uy equal to x, just common u, 1 plus y equal to x. That means u equal to x over 1 plus y. Here we have to find the u2, 3. So this value would be 2 over 1 plus 3. That means this value would be 2 over 4. That means 1 over 2. So the value of u2, 3 is 1 over 2. That means option 4 is a right option. I hope my all viewers have understood this type of question. This question had come CSIR NET June 2023 exam. Okay? Well. I will stop here. In my next video, I will discuss more question about Cauchy's theorem. Okay? Shubho Lokhi Puja again. See you soon. Stay safe and stay positive always. And don't forget to subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you so much.